观众朋友，大家好，欢迎来到今天的直击美股，我是主持人江柳，在华尔街向您问好。周四美股微幅高开，道琼斯工业平均指数上涨5.13点，或0.02%，报21,537.27点；标普500指数高开6.8点，涨幅0.06%；纳斯达克综合指数高开6.8点，涨幅0.11%。科技股迎来了价格反弹的小高峰。周四，科技股凭借2.6%的累积涨幅，获得了7个月来的最大周受益。科技龙头股今天的表现平稳，盘中 Facebook 上涨0.04%，Apple 上涨0.81%，Alphabet 上涨0.68%，Netflix 由涨转跌，一度从0.03%的涨幅变为0.07%的跌幅。个股方面出现了意外的反转，一直表现良好的亚马逊受到阻力。盘中跌幅一度达到0.8%。据悉，沃尔玛食材价格优势是对亚马逊网上食物超市的巨大冲击。同时，开发食材配送市场的亚马逊，其7月份的食材价格平均比沃尔玛贵出了16.1%。而不被看好的 Snapchat 今天出现了触底反弹，股价上涨4.2%。Stifel 将 Snap 的目标定价上调至$22，评级由持有上调至买入。更多消息，让我们来听 T3 首席分析师 Scott 的分析。
Good morning, traders. Kurt Capper here with your Morning Call Express here for this Thursday, July 13th. Hope you guys are off to a great start this morning. And as we look around the world, Europe and Asia are both higher as we are heading into this morning's trading. And the S&P is also trading a bit higher here, up small amount here pre-market. We'll see how that translates into the open, but more importantly was yesterday and how we closed. First of all, we had the gap up. You can see that gap up, though, was no insignificant gap as we broke above this descending channel and cleared a couple levels of significant resistance. We had these prior highs here as well as the 243 level. We were also hanging right around the 8 and 21 day, and the gap up yesterday got us above all of that. Now, that's not to say that we're out of the woods. We do still have quite a bit of congestion here off to the left, but yesterday was a really good first step towards pushing us back up towards these prior highs and higher. And the other thing I want to point out is that, yes, we've had all this kind of bleeding lower. We've had a bit more significant pullback in the Qs. Overall, though, if you take a look at the weekly chart, this looks like it's getting ready for a break higher and, quite frankly, a very strong move into the end of the year. So we'll see what happens. We're turning the corner here into earnings season, which is definitely going to start getting the volatility going a bit more. But you look at this weekly chart, again, like I said, there were a couple failed attempts to move lower here, as you can see where my arrow is pointing. And now if we can break over these highs, then we're looking at a brand new breakout and kick off to a brand new move. So we'll look for that to take place. And we can do the same thing here looking at the Qs, and you can see again they had their own little channel that they were bleeding lower in, popped up above it. The only thing I don't necessarily like about the action here in the Qs is the fact that this gap up and strong close yesterday is after 3 prior days up. So yesterday was day 4 up with the gap, and we are coming into that prior high. So we may see a bit of a pause here today, maybe a little bit more follow through, but I think in the short term the upside is a bit limited. But of course we'll see what happens, especially for the Qs. Having said that, if we look here at the weekly of this one, you can see that you got a little kind of flag type of bleed lower, and this also is still holding an uptrend and looks like it can continue pushing higher. It may be a little more volatile than what it was the first half of the year, but that's also something we've been discussing, is the rotation away from tech and into other areas. So we may see that the Qs are a bit sloppier in comparison to things like the S&P. So we'll see how that all plays out. But looking at the financials, they got a little bit of a rebound yesterday, closing bullish. We'll see if it can break above the high of yesterday's bar. If so, look for additional follow through there. Names like JP Morgan are set up well for a move higher. Pulling back over the last couple days into that 8MA, should get a bounce there. Goldman has been basing nicely at this upper level, so if it can break higher here, that would be a real positive sign. Getting through 230 is going to be your key level there to watch for. And also Bank of America, I mean, this one was under a bit more pressure, not as good looking, but we'll see if it can recover here today. We do have Yellen testifying once again, and so anything that she says, you know, if it's a lightning rod for attention, it may move the markets a bit, but definitely, you know, just be aware that she is speaking here later today at 10 o'clock, and certain comments she may make could drive some action, at least in the short term, with regard to the market. So, as I said, definitely be aware of that.
好的，以上就是今天的全部内容。更多消息，请您继续关注我们的直击美股。我们下期再见。